Kharuddin, Samim,
Present, sir.
Ahmad Kas,
Present, sir.
Ashadullah, Ajizullah, Ilyas, Tajuddin,
Present, sir.
Muhammad Harun, Sabnam,
Present.
Ali Ahmad, Habibullah,
Present, sir.
Muhammad Sana,
Present.
Najifa, I think she just Nila,
Present.
Nilofar,
Present.
Nijar Hussain, Shamsad, Jarguna, Jhala. All right. So we have talked about flows. Now we are going to see the last topic and the major. After that, we will talk about chain set deployment in one small things. So this is a major topic. Okay, what out of all the topics that you have seen, this is the most complex topic. Reason being because this is launched at a very later stage by Salesforce, quite new. Not much references have been given on the internet if you try to find it, but it's more like a development things itself. Only thing that the dev has been given in the form of your front end in the configuration. So when the complexity arises, we go with the flows. So that's the agenda for our today's topic. So we will see 2-3 scenario case study for this flow to understand the thing. Wait a second. Okay. So we will see how do we create the flows. Let me go to our application. Let's go to the setup. So before we take up a case study, let me make you all aware of the interface. So this is the flow. So when you have to create any new flow, you need to click on this new flow option. And as soon as you click, so here you see here we have different categories of the flows. Basically, these four are used. I have never also used these two. So we have a screen flow, schedule trigger flow, auto launch flow, a record trigger flow. Each one of them has their own utility. So we will see them all and we'll talk about it. So first let's talk about a case study and scenario and then we will talk about it further. Okay. So let's talk about a scenario. Suppose the hospital management system that we worked on. Okay. So there we were creating any hospitals. Now our requirement is that like we wanted to create a feedback kind of system, a feedback portal where if any patient is visiting the hospital, okay. So what is the experience of the patients? Okay. Whenever any patients will visit the hospitals, he will capture his basic information like his name, his phone number, and one sec. So if any patients visit the hospital, so you will capture his basic informations like his phone number, his email ID, what is the disease that he or she is suffering from. Once you capture these information, so at the time the patient leaves, so we need to know what is his experience in the hospital. If his experience is good, so what we will do, we will create the patient record in our database for future keeping purpose. And if the patient is given wrong feedback, then we wanted to create a case within my system with the phone number of the patients, and then we want one of our support representative to be in touch with the patients to understand like why he didn't like the facilities of the hospital. So that's what we wanted. So here we wanted to create a multi-screen structure. Okay, multiple screens will be there. One screen where will be like welcoming the patient, another screen where you will take the patient's basic information, another screen we will be talking about the feedbacks taken from the patients, and then based on the feedback we wanted to take certain actions, like whether you want to create a patient record or whether you wanted to create a new case records. Now to achieve these things, where you have multiple screens you need to prepare. One way is that you go to the LWC, Lightning Web Component. In the development, you start writing the coding and then you create multiple screen. For your backend logic, you use Apex programming. But again, that is entirely development. So in the configuration, do we have something to achieve this? So that's why Salesforce launched this flows. It was launched not much older. It is the latest concept, but very powerful. So let's see. So since we are dealing with the multi-screen structure, so whenever you need multiple screens, up to a certain extent you can do the customization in the design of the screen. So for that, we can make use of the concepts of the screen flow. So let's create a new flow. So we will talk one by one. First, let's talk about the screen, then we will talk about this later. So first, let's create the screen flow. Let's click on create. Once you start creating your flow, so this is the interface. This is the auto layout. In the auto layout, it does not show all the elements. You completely go here, click on free form. When you will click on free form, so here you will get the interface for your flow. Okay. So onto the left hand side, you see here we have the elements like interaction, logic, and data. Interaction is for when you need to create a new screen, take any actions, use a subflow. We use in the logics. Let's say you want to create variables and assign the value. You use assignment. Decision is like if else. Loop is for looping, like one by one you wanted to iterate through the data. Then for sorting we use like, so this is for sorting. And at the bottom, we have the options for creation of the records, update of the record, get record is for reading from the existing data, delete record for deletion. In the manager side, when you click on new resource, you can create multiple resources. Like you want to create a variable, you want to create a constant, you wanted to define a formula, you can do those things. Okay. This flow is a very vast topic, very vast things. Even right now, I am exploring. It's quite new. So as many case study as you practice, you will start getting comfortable with it. So that's why I tell you it is more closer to your depth. So we will see 2, 3 case studies to get ourselves aware with the different features of our flows. Okay. So first thing, when the program starts, I wanted to start with a welcome screen for the end user. So how do we create a new screen for our in our applications? I mean, this is basically building a short application itself, a multi-screen structure, and that we will include in the form of a tab within our application. So I needed the very first screen. So for that, let's include this screen. So this basically gives you the interface to design your screen. In your screen, what are the elements you wanted? You can make use of these input elements to create, like you wanted any address element, date field, pick list field. So you can select this. This is the header. I don't want any header, so I am removing this uncheck header. So once this is your home screen now, so let's give our screen a name. So let's say I'm giving this screen a name. So this is the very first screen when the user will start using our flow. So they should be coming to this screen. So I'm giving it a name. Let's say home. Home. And we are dealing with the host. This is basically a home screen. I'm giving a description. Now on this home screen, you want to show some message to the user. So here you see, if you scroll down, we have the display text. This section is for creating a section display text if you want to display some text messages on your screen. So I wanted to display a text message on my screen. So I'm using this display text. Scroll down and put it over here. Give it an API name. What is the API name you want to give for display name? So let's say I'm giving it welcome. What is the message you want to give? You can type your message. So I'm saying, let's say, welcome to, let's say, Apollo is a big hospital chain. I am, let's say, writing Apollo feedback system. You want to make the font size larger? You can select it, make the font size larger. It has become larger. You want to shift it slightly indentation, you can make it in the middle. You want to change the color of the text, you can do that as well. Make it green better. So Apollo feedback system is in the green. Okay. You wanted to insert some image icon, you can insert image from here. I need to have an image. I don't have an image, so I'm keeping my welcome screen as a blank. In your case, when you practice this, so you can create a logo or a screen download and put for your application. So I'm keeping it blank. So one screen is created and I click on done. So this is the home screen that I have created. When my flow will start, so my flow will start from this welcome screen with a welcome message like welcome to Apollo Healthcare System. So if you need to start your process, so you need to connect your screen with this. How do we connect? You simply click on it and here you put the connector. It is connected. So that means our flow started from here and went to the welcome screen. After that, what you want? So after that, once the user comes to the welcome screen, he sees and he is going to provide the information. The next thing that I wanted is once the user clicks on the next button that will be given by default on the screen, I wanted to capture the patient's basics information like what is his name, his phone number, what is the disease that he is suffering from. So again, I am going to create another screen. After this screen, that screen should appear. So I am creating this screen. I don't want to show the label, so I am simply going to this configuration here, removing the header. Now give this screen a proper name. So this screen name I am giving, let's say, patient information. Patient information. To capture patient's basic information. What are the things? This screen you need to have some questions for the patients, right? I'm gonna put the questions in the form of display text, putting it. What is the name you are giving? I am calling it a name called question one. What is the question? I am asking the question to the patients. Putting a bullet point here. Okay, let it be directly writing. Let's say I am writing. What is your name? This is the first question I am going to ask to the patients. Make the font, let's say 14. Can shift it slightly. Or let it be the way. What is your name? This is the question one that I am asking. Once this question will be displayed on the UI on the screen, the patient needs to provide the answer for this question as well, right? So for answer, what we can do? In order to provide the answer, you need to have some input element where user can write his answer for this question. So I need a text box. So for the text box, if you come over here, na, this is the text element you can use. Put the text box. Drag it and put it here. What is the text box label you are giving? Let's say I'm giving answer 1. Answer 1. Here user will be capturing his answer. If you wanted to ensure that this element become mandatory without providing the information for this answer, I won't let the user navigate to the next screen. So for that you can check this require option. So what is your name? That is the very first question I am asking. I ask these questions to the user. Visibility always, no conditional visibility. Any validations you wanted, you can put it here. We don't have any. We ask the question, what is your name? User is capturing his information. Next thing, what I want to capture on the same screen, I wanted to capture the user phone number and the information about his sufferings, the disease that he or she is suffering from. So again, I am going to put another display text to ask the questions about what is the disease that the patient is suffering from. So put another display text here. What you are asking, I am asking question number 2. What is the question? So I am asking, what is your phone number? Okay, select it, make it 14. You wanna give it, change the font size or anything, you can do that as well. So again, this is another question that is being asked to the patients. So for this question also patients needs to provide the answer. So in order to provide the answer by the, capture the answers of the patients, what we need to do? We need to have a text element. So again, let me have a text element. So again, here you see this text element. Let's drag and drop it over here. So what is the label of this? I'm giving it, let's say answer to. Answer to. So what is your name? What is your phone number? These are the questions that the patient is answering. After this, what next? So patient has provided name, his phone number. Next thing I wanted to capture, like what is the disease that he or she is suffering from. Again, I am coming over here, put another display text element. So let me put another display text element. Let's say I am calling it question number 3. What is the question number 3 you are going to ask? So I am asking him, what disease are you suffering from? Okay, so what disease are you suffering from? So this is a question. Let's make it 14. In order to capture the information, so again I am going to put a text element where the user can answer. Label answer 3. Answer 3. I have designed this screen. Okay. Any field you want to make mandatory, you can make mandatory. So this is the second screen that we have designed. Click on done. So after the welcome screen, once you welcome the patient, next thing I wanted to do is to take him to the basics information capture screen where he can provide his basic information. So again, I am connecting from here to here. So after the welcome screen, the patient will come to the patient information screen. Here we are just creating the multiple screen and designed our screen as per our own choice. Once the second screen is there, now what? Now I wanted to capture the feedback of the patients. He has given his patients like once what is his experience in the hospital. So I'm gonna create another screen like a feedback screen. I don't want this header. Remove the header. Feedback. Feedback. What is the question? What is the message you want? I want to ask him a feedback questions. Let's say this one. I am calling it question number 4. What is the question you are asking to the patient? I am asking, are you happy, wait a second. So we are going to ask the patient a question like whether he likes the services provided in the hospital or not. So I'm asking, are you happy with the service? Like a feedback question I'm asking. Okay. You make it 14 characters. Are you happy with the service? Oh, what happened? Hmm. Are you happy with the service? Then answer needs to be provided for this. So again, I am taking an input text element where user can capture his information about his answer. So again, I am putting a text box element here, dragging and dropping it. Let's say I am providing it. Let's say this is the fourth answer now. So let's say I'm providing answer for happy or not happy. You can give meaningful names. I am providing that's that's it. One question I am capturing in this screen. Again, I connected it. First, the patient came. We gave him a welcome message. Then we took him to the next screen where he captured his basics informations. Then we took him to the feedback screen where we asked the feedback questions. Patients provided the answers for the feedback questions. Now next, once the feedback has been provided, so based on this feedback, we need to take some future course of actions, right? Like if in this feedback screen, the patient is providing the answer to the question like, are you happy with the service? As yes, then I want to create a patient record in my database. Otherwise, if the patient is providing the answer as no, then what you wanted to do? So if the patient is providing the answer as no, so in that case, I wanted to capture a case. I wanted to log a case within my system so that any support representative can call the patients on the numbers that he has provided, and then a future course of correction measures can be taken. So whenever you have such requirements where you want to take some decisions like an if and else statement, check some conditions, and based on that you want to take further course of action. So for that, in the flow, here we have the decision element. So decision, as the name suggests, this is for taking any decision based on some criteria. So I'm going to take a decision. So I'm going to put a decision element over here. What is the name of the decision element? I am asking it a name, let's say, what to do. Decision to take action based on, this is a description I am providing, patient feedback. What are the decisions you wanna take? So here you can specify your outcome conditions. So I am asking first question, happy scenario. Happy. Because once the patient is happy, so then what I am going to do, if the patient is happy, na, so then in that case, if the patient is happy, I wanted to create a patient record. So for that, I am defining the happy conditions. Happy. So how do we know patient is happy or not happy? We had already created the screen components, right? So if we remember on the feedback screen, I had created this component. Where are we capturing the patient's answer? So in the answer for happy or not happy, I'm capturing the patient's answer. So I'm going to check that answer for happy or not. So if the answer for happy or not happy, this element contains what? If it contains the keyword, let's say Y, because he will be providing his answer in the form of yes or no. I'm assuming if he provides something random, for that you need to handle it separately. But we are trying to create the basics one. So here I am assuming if in the answer he is provided yes, so definitely Y will be the keyword. So I am checking. This for my scenario. My condition is for the happy scenario. I am assuming that the answer will be yes. I need one more scenario for the non-happy scenario. If he is not happy with the facilities that are provided by the hospital, so for that I want another outcome. And here you see we have and as a criteria. You can specify multiple criteria in the form of and or. Okay, so I am using this criteria. Again, for the not happy, I am going to define another outcome. I am specifying here not happy. Again, I am reiterating flow is a complex thing. You keep on digging it up, you will keep on learning. So we are going to see three case studies for our understanding, but you need to it's like entirely development thing itself. In development, we do such kind of coding. Only thing is that you have got a front end, but basically we need to think from a developer mind perspective. But the benefit is that without writing a single line of code, we can understand things. Okay. So let's use it. Not happy. Second scenario I am specifying. What is the second scenario? So again, if in the answer text box that I had provided onto my feedback screen, if I'm assuming if my answer contains the keyword n, because he will be providing no or yes as his answer, no, then I'm going to assume that he is not happy. That's done. My decision element has been done. So after the feedback screen, where you want to go? I will come to this decision element where the answer that has been provided by the patients. So that answer I'm going to evaluate onto my decision element. Then what you want to do? I'm going to analyze this answer, like whether he has provided the answer as yes or whether he has provided the answer as no. And based on that, I am going to take some action. So what actions you want to do? So if let's say the answer is provided as yes, like the patient is happy with the service, then what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a new patient record within my system. So for how do we create a new patient records? So again, for creation of the new patient record, here you have this element create record. So let's drag and drop this element. So what I'm gonna give it a name, I'm gonna give it a name, let's say create patients. Just a 1 minute, huh? Give me 1 minute. All right. So if this is for the positive scenario, like if the patient has provided the answer as yes, then what you want to do? I am going to create a patient records. How many records of patients you will be logging? I will be creating only one patient records. Okay. Use this second option. Here it will allow you to capture the object for which you want to create the record. So for which object you want to create record? So if you go to this, here we had created this object hospital patients. Okay. So for this one, I am gonna capture the records. Come to the flow builder. So I'm selecting my object name, hospital patients. What are the fields you want? As soon as you selected, na, your fields will appear. What are the fields you wanted to populate? So what are the fields we are having? Make sure when you are going to create the records, so for the mandatory fields, you provide the informations. Otherwise, system will, we had this. Na. What are the interface? Let me check it. Name is a mandatory field, others are non-mandatory fields. So you can keep it. I think we should do one more thing. On the main screen, we could have captured the gender as well. But let it be. We will create only the name. So that way we could have captured the gender as well. But let's come. So I want to capture the patient's name. So I'm selecting here patient's name. What is the value for the name? So basically on the main screen, we have already captured the patient's name, right? In which element? In the answer one, we have captured the patient's name. So I'm going to select it. And the name value, what is the name you wanted appear? Whatever answer he is provided in the answer one, that. On our patient screen, we also have a field like phone number, right? So this phone number also, do we have a phone number? So let me check. Yeah, we have. So I am gonna capture the phone number information as well. The coming here, what is the phone number? Because on the main screen we have already captured his phone number, right? The second thing, phone. Since you have selected your objects, that's why all the fields are coming over here. What is the value for the phone number you wanted? So this is the phone number because the second answer was phone number. That's it. I'm gonna create a new patient record. Click on done. And let's relate these two together. Wait a second. For which scenario this should come over? You remember, I had defined my decision element with the outcomes happy or non-happy. All your outcomes will be listed over here. In which scenario you want to create a patient record? In the happy scenario, for which the condition we had specified, like if your answer is yes. So in the happy scenario, what you are going to do? So on the happy scenario, I am gonna connect this. So when the answer is happy, like he's happy with the service, I am gonna create a patient record. All of you able to follow till now? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. So I'm gonna create a new patient's record over here. Okay. And next thing, in case of unhappy scenario, if on the feedback screen he has not provided a valid answer, he has provided a wrong answer, then what do you want to do? I am gonna log a case within my system. Let me have a look at the elements that are required for the case object. Because when you are going to create the case record, so you need to know the mandatory fields value needs to be provided. So let me see for the case records, what are the fields value we need to provide. Okay, these are mandatory. Now let's come back. So now, in case of unhappy scenario, what you want to do? You will see get records, delete records, update records as well in the second case study. This loops decision again I will be exploring. Okay. So next, what you want to do? In case of an unhappy scenario, again I want to create a new records. So again, click on drag and drop it. Create a case. I am gonna log a case within my system. So I'm creating a case. Create a case. How many case records? One case record. Select the second option for selecting the object. So what is your object? So case object, because case is what we use for support. So here we are not, patient is not happy with the service. So I'm going to create a case on the patient we have. So what are the elements we need to provide for the case? So for your case object, you see the status is a mandatory field, origin is a mandatory field. We have other fields information as well, like the case subject, case description. So let me provide here. So I'm coming over here. Let's say first field I am selecting is subject. What is the subject? So I am in the subject I am providing. You can define your own subject line. I am providing you. I already have the patient name na, in the first answer. So I'm writing is not happy with the service. That is my subject line. Another element I am creating. So I provided here answer as a subject line, like the patient is not happy with the service. What is the next thing you wanted? Next thing I want to capture is, come over here, case status and the case origin. Let's provide the status. It's a new case. Status is a pick list value. So as you will select, it will show you all the pick list value. I'm creating a new case. What is the case origin you want to define? Here we have the case origin, which is also a mandatory field. So let's specify case origin. So let's say I'm providing the case origin as phone. Subject line also I'm gonna capture. Now subject I've already captured. Let's say description. What is the description? So I'm telling, let's say my answer. Not happy with the service. Please contact. Any other fields we can capture that could be helpful? Do we have a phone number here? A web phone is there, na? Let me capture this also. I'm not sure what is supplied phone. Let me check. Might be this field itself would be supplied phone. In the answer to be I capture the patient's phone number, and that's it. This is done. Let's connect. In which scenario we should go to the creation of the case? If the patient is not happy with the service. I selected it. Our flow is being designed, and at the end, we showed him the welcome message. We captured the patient's basic information, took his feedback. Based on the feedback, we are going to take a decision. If he is happy, I'm going to create a patient record. If he is not happy, I'm going to create a new case record. At the end, I'm just going to show a thank you message to the patients. So let me create another screen. I don't want the header. I'm removing the header. What is the screen name? I'm giving, let's say, thanks. Just a display text like thanks for your kind feedback. Make it, let's say, 16 characters. Done. Our flow is now done. Click on save. What is the flow name you are giving? So let's say I'm calling it patients feedback system.
Did you connect the last one, sir?
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, you are right. In both ways, whether he is happy or not happy, after capturing the feedback, we are gonna capture this. Save it. So let's say very less people are there who are having good understanding of the flow. Many people are working, but flow is a little bit tricky topic. Okay, even people who are they prefer development rather than using flow because it is new as compared. And you want to get much support for this. That's why we are explaining. But if you become master of your flow, na, even if you are an administrator, you can do as much work as a developer. We have took one scenario. This way you can think n number of case study and you need to think of the logic, which element I use, how do I specify my conditions, and that way you can take. One thing you can do for your practice, we had captured this grading system. Now you can prepare as a simple example, like you prepare just two screen or like where you select your objects, student, based on the student marks. You can know that for that you need to know record trigger. I will tell you later. First, try this. Any multi-screen structure you try. Patient feedback system. Your flow is saved. Remember this thing. Just like your process builder, where you had to activate to use it. Here also you need to activate to use it. But before even activating, I'm going to debug my flow, how it is going to run. So click on this debug. Okay. The patient feedback system is coming. Debug details. Ashish Kumar started the flow interview, also known as flow. Click welcome to the Apollo feedback system. That will be the very first screen. And then you will get a next message. Click on next. We selected next. What happened? Screen home display. Every step is getting debugged. Before I follow this practice, like before even activating my flow, I debug the steps. Okay. Again, telling since you will be working in a sandbox, sandbox is basically a developer copy where you can do anything. So you can even activate and test it. I am testing it here. What is your name? Let's say I'm providing my name is, let's say, Mohit Raina. What is your phone number? I am providing, let's say, 78900999709. What is the disease you are suffering from? Let's say I'm providing fever. Click on next. Check it whether your variables are set or not. You see, we had created three variables, right? And I mean text boxes. In the answer one, we got Mohit Rana. In the answer two, you see, the steps are being debugged. Second screen, you have got the phone number. In the answer three, you have got the information about the fear. Selected navigation next. Are you happy with the service? Yes. So if our decision outcome is written correctly, you can observe it here. What happened here? You see. Decision what to do. Outcome executed happy. Outcome condition. Answer for happy, not happy. Yes. Contains by yes. It's satisfied. That's why it went to the happy. And the happy scenario, what we are doing? We are creating the patient record. So you see, it has successfully, a record is ready to be created. Since you are doing debug, it won't create. But in the actually, this should create. Now I am going to deactivate because it looks correct to me. Click on activate. And I'm going to actually run my flow. Click on run. You can design, give it a more beautiful design, have some coloring, because there were the coloring options. You can have a logo for your applications and that things we can do. Click on next. Welcome to the Apollo feedback system. What is your name? I'm going to create a name, let's say. What name I will say? What is this her phone number? So let's say 789007709. What is the disease he is suffering? She is suffering from? So let's say headache. Next. Happy with the service? Yes. Thank you. Let's see whether a patient record got created within our applications or not. Okay, because that was the requirement. Menka Gandhi patient record got created. Okay. Patient name is Menka Gandhi. I think phone number by default we are creating the VIP. For that we don't have phone number captured. That's why. Let it be. We were able to create. So one scenario went correctly. Let's check the other scenario. Okay, click on finish. I'm gonna second scenario. What is your name? So let's say I'm providing the name as Mr. Boris Johnson. What is his phone number? Let's say this. What is disease he is suffering from? So let's say I am telling high blood pressure. Happy with the service? No. Thank you for your kind feedback. Let's see whether a patient record case got created or not, because that was our objective was. Boris Johnson is not happy with the service. That's how our subject format was specified. Patient name, and then we specified is not happy with the service. Let me open the case. It created. What are the informations? Case origin, we had specified phone. Phone number also we had supplied. That is also getting created over here. By default, it created a medium priority case. A status we had supplied a new case has been created. And we were able to see the subject line. Boris Johnson not happy with the service. Boris Johnson not happy with the service. Please contact. You automated the process of case creation from your applications. Is it clear, everyone, till now? Yes or no? At least this example,
Yes.
all of you. Now we are running from here. But is that all the time when we need to run the flow, we will come over here? No, we won't come over here. Na? Rather, whenever we need to capture, we need to have this option within our application. So what we can do? This is the flow URL. Copy this URL. If you wanted to include your flow within your application, you can create a tab for this. How? Let's come. So till now we have been creating the tabs for our objects. Now we will create a web tab. Web tab is used for our flow. So let's come over here. Let's go to the setup. Here within this admin training application, I want to include this flow. So coming over here. Create on tabs. I'm going to create a web tab. Web tab is used for flows. I had created Elmini. Click on new. Let it be the default one. Click on next. What is the tab label? Let's say patient feedback system I'm giving. Tab style, select anything. Next. It's as it's a web tab, na? Oh, I think this name is already taken. So let's give it a better name. Say patient information. Click on next. Now you need to provide your URL, and when you are providing URL, what URL you will be providing? So this is the URL of our patient feedback system that gets created. So provide this URL and click on next. Make it visible to all the profiles. Click it default on next. You can change the profile settings as where you want to include this tab within our application. What is our application? Admin training. Select this. Click on save. Our flow has been created. Now let's go back to our application, and within our applications, you will get the option to use this flow. So here it is. Let's refresh. You come over the patient's informations. Whenever someone will land onto this screen, no one will ever get to know. Like in the backend, you have written a flow like this. It can look like a lightning page with the LWC programming we do. You can do this with the complex programming, like in the VS code, you write JavaScript coding, design your HTML, CSS, this complexity. You don't need to worry. You are good with the flow. You know admin. With the admin, we are doing the development task. This screen has been designed and options is also added within my application. I'm clicking on next. I'm going to create the patient's record. Which patient's record I'm going to create? So let's say I'm going to create a Rishi Sunak. His phone number, let's say I provide my Suffering disease. So let's say he is suffering from cold. Next. Happy with the service. He is not happy with the service. Click on next. And the thank you message. Thanks for your feedback. Click on this element got design. This design we did with the configuration, multi-screen structure. We took the decision, we took the actions based on that decision. Here within my system, one case has been logged. Very powerful tool. If you are aware what right clicks, what right conditions we can think of, our process Rishi Sunak is not happy with the service. Okay, case has been created. So we can do. So all of you, are you clear on this? The first one, screen flow.
Sir, when the patient is happy,
Hmm.
so then where will be the data stored?
You remember when I was creating happy or not happy? So here I created these text elements. In this text element, I had added the name answer 1, FIY, answer 2. So when I am taking the decision for the happiness or not happiness, okay, sorry, in the patient information, this is the feedback screen. Are you happy with the service? Answer for happy. It's not that I am creating a variable or anything. Just this text box element has the name answer for happy or not happy. Okay. And when I had to capture, you can create a variables as well, and you can copy the store this information in the variable. Since it's a screen flow, so directly on the screen elements, I am storing the elements. So this answer was stored in this text box element, input element, answer for happy or not happy. And when I had to take the criteria, so what I have checked, you see here, not here. When I had to take the decision, I am comparing it with what? Answer for happy or not happy. That means answer for was which element? On their patient feedback screen, your answer for was, see, this is a mandatory field. Your answer for was the feedback screen answer. Okay.
So in this case, if we wanted to store these data, we need to create an object for that, right?
Not object, that is a text element. This is a screen. So in your screen, you created one element where you have stored this element, this information. This information is stored into this element, and that element only we use for our further purpose, testing purpose.
So where we can see that data if they are happy, for
No,
example.
you cannot see that data. It's in the, it's a backend operation that is being performed. If let's say you want to capture such kind of things, okay, like in the case object or in the patient object, you wanted to capture his feedback. Our
Yes,
objective itself was that I want to capture, create a patient if he is happy or case if he is not happy. But if you want to capture, let's say the answer that he has provided itself. Okay. So let's say
yes,
on the patient object, you can create a new object, or rather, if you want to capture on the patient object itself, you can have a custom field over here, which will be like patient's feedback. And in that you answer, you capture the answer of like answer 4. Answer 4 is the element. That information you capture. So then you can go to the patient object record, and there you can see like what is the answer he has given. Getting my point?
okay, sir.
Got it, na? Like in
Yes,
the hospital patient's record that is getting created of Menka Gandhi. So here I will put another field over here, which will be patient feedback. Or if you want an altogether different, like on the feedback screen, we asked only one question: you are happy with the service. We can ask like a multiple survey questions. Na? We can create entire feedback object itself. Okay. And what we will do based on the feedback that he is providing, if he is happy with the service, so we can create another here you can add another thing after this create patient record and add another element create feedback record, and the create feedback record whatever information that you have captured on the feedback screen. I asked only one question, are you happy with the service? You ask other questions, whether you like the ICU facilities, yes or no. Again another, for this yes or no you create your feedback object, you have a field like patients like is ICU liked or not, whether you like the food provided in the hospital or not. Okay. So for that also he can provide it. What is the category of food you like? You gave a text box, you provide vegetarian. That information you capture in your objects. So against this, you create another create record after this, where you will be putting your objects, your patients, I mean patient not feedback object, and that feedback object you can capture those information. If you want to see that feedback object data that has been given by the patients, you can simply that feedback object tab within your application, and you can see what information was provided by the patient. Otherwise, in the same patient record itself, you create a field, multiple fields, and there itself, while populating the patient record, in that object itself, you capture those field informations. Got it now?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Basically, all depends on the requirement that you are getting from the business. Okay, how they want to design. But this is the approach that can be followed. Okay. So this same example that we have done, I want you all to please practice this same assignment. Okay, screen flow. Okay, if in your admin interview you can say that you are good with the flows, na. First of all, 60, 70, 80% people, they are not comfortable with answering the questions of the flow. But if you can master the flows, then you can even grab work like a very advanced administrator. Okay, so practice this same scenario. I will show more scenarios on this. So tomorrow also we will have the session on the flows itself. Okay, and we'll take some more complex case study. Okay, we will talk about entire backend operations. Okay, backend logic we will perform. We will see update how we do, how do we do deletions and all those things. How can you use the for loop in the flow? These are all dev concepts, but you have got in the configuration a way to use this thing. So tomorrow we will see. So hopefully we will have 2-3 more sessions and we will be done. Okay, so anyone having any assignment issues and all things, make sure you ask prior. Okay, but after that also we will have the group. You have my contacts. Anytime you can contact me, and I will give reply for sure. One thing for sure. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So practice this, the same example that we had done. Okay. And tomorrow also we will continue with the same topic of flows. Okay. All right then.